Hello, this is Robert Hollis, and this video is about getting a crystal clear why. Now, this is one of the most important things that I'll share with you, and I know there's a lot of important keys, but this one's really up there. I mean, really, really high. When people first get involved in anything, they're always asking, how do you do this? How do you do this? Can I get a minute of your time? Can I ask you some questions? Can I get a game plan? They're always asking all the time about how to do something. When in reality, if you think back in your entire lifetime, and I don't care how young or old you are when you watch this, when you have a reason why, I call it the Popp, the place of passion. When you have a why, guess what? The how comes. You just automatically find a way to do that. So I'm going to give you a little exercise here, and I'm telling you what, in 26 years of helping people become successful, it still blows my mind. It seriously does. How very few people do this. Now, here's the assignment. You got to get alone by yourself. You got to get alone. No distractions. No cell phone, no TV, no anything. If you can walk away from your home because of distractions, it'd be great if you could go to a park, or you could just go someplace where there's even no traffic. It would be awesome. And what you want to do is take along your journal. If you watch a lot of my videos, if you don't have a journal, you need to go to the bookstore and you need to go to Amazon and get a journal. And what you need to do is you need to write your vision down. You need to write it on tablets. And when you first start out, I know it's going to be difficult because some of you, believe it or not, have not spent any time with yourself in a long, long, long time. And you have to write it down. You have to. When you first start out, just start out by saying, hey, listen, wouldn't it be cool if, I like that statement, wouldn't it be cool if, and then fill in the blank. And what you want to do is maybe start out simple. Maybe you start out saying, listen, wouldn't it be cool if I was out of debt? Wouldn't it be cool if I didn't have, any real big debt? Wouldn't it be cool if I paid off my car? Wouldn't it be cool if I had a new car? What kind of car would you want? And you start out by doing the very little things, and what they do is they start building. As you start writing them down, now you want to get crystal clear. You want to start writing down, what kind of car you'd want, what color car, what color interior. You want to really, really start saying, listen, I want a home. Where do you want the home? What kind of home? And what you got to do is you start having to get a crystal clear why. And what you'll do is if you start writing it down, maybe it's a closer relationship with your creator. So you want to spend time. Maybe you haven't learned anything about, on your physical life, as far as maybe yoga or learn to do some meditation, learn how to spend dedicated time. What about your relationships with the people that you love? I always love saying this, that time is how you spell love for children, T-I-M-E. You just need to spend time with them. You got to learn to communicate. One of the things that I know for a fact is if you have difficulties with anybody, the number one key is learning how to communicate. There's 36 different personality traits. And so you want to learn the different personality traits and then learn your personality traits. And you want to learn something, don't get mad when I say this, but you might want to learn to listen. You want to learn to listen. Another thing is community. When you're giving, how much volunteer work do you do? And people go, volunteer work? Are you kidding me? And so that's not only volunteer work, but giving back to your community, being part of society, even mastering Facebook or LinkedIn or Pinterest or Twitter. This is ways that you can learn to socialize, get better at asking questions and listening. What's another area? Of course, financially. You know what I mean? So we already talked about, wouldn't it be cool to be out of debt? Wouldn't it be cool to, own a car, own a home, not have the bank own it? But there's a lot of neat things that you want to do, and you want to write them down, and you want to get more detailed. The more detailed and crystal clear you'll get, the more excited you'll get. Now, let's take this one more step further. let's just say, for instance, if it was a car and you wanted a certain kind of car. I know for some of you that will hear this, you might think that I'm bragging, but I'm the kind of guy that wants to buy things for everybody else. So, as long as I, got, my wife Terry's got an Escalade, and it's a brand new one. Guess what? She knows it's reliable. She feels good in the vehicle. She can take me anywhere she wants. And then when I can ask her or borrow her vehicle. But, it got to a point where I learned to write down my goals. And about 2 years ago, you know what I did? I started going out and looking at some really nice cars. It started out being a Bentley. And then I started looking at, maybe a McLaren, a Ferrari. I was looking at some Lamborghinis, and I was looking at all these cars, and then I finally, my son, Robert Hollis Jr., told me, hey, listen, there's a Rolls-Royce dealership there. And, I was thinking, oh my God, I'll start out at a car, maybe 100,000, maybe 150,000, but I wanted to reward myself for being disciplined, for working hard, for hitting some of my goals. I wanted to make $2 million a year in residual income, and I was able to do it. And so I wanted to reward myself, so my brain would go, listen, good job, Robert, do some more. You got great potential, do more actions, get more results, get more belief attitude, and just get that going. So anyway, what I did is I went and looked at a Rolls Royce, and I said, well, listen, I want to go get my family. And so I got my sons and my wife, and we went and looked at this car. And when we showed up, the guy was smart. He could tell by listening to me that I was serious. He had it cleaned up, and he had it sitting outside. And I took that car for a test drive. Now, that was not my first new car. Years ago, I was able to do what I'm telling you to do right now, and I was able to pull that off. But I test drove that Rolls Royce, and in my mind, I said, I got to do it. Not to get off track, it's a great story, but bottom line, the salesman said to me, you know what the difference is between a Rolls Royce and the other cars you're looking at? And I went, what? And he says, when a nice car pulls up, a lot of people go, wow, that's a nice Ferrari. Wow, that's a nice Lamborghini. But when a Rolls Royce pulls up, they say, wow, I wonder who's in that car. See, when you get ready to edify yourself, Robert, instead of a car manufacturer, let me know. Well, guess what? 3 years later, you know what I mean? I bought one. I bought a brand new Rolls Royce Ghost. And I still have it today. I haven't even had it for a year. And the only reason I'm saying this is not to say this to impress you. I'm saying this to press upon you that for you to have things to work for you, you got to get that burning desire. You got to get that why. And once you figure out the things that you want, then you got to start thinking about, what is it going to feel like? What is it going to feel like to have that credit card paid off? What is it going to feel like to have that loan paid off? What is it going to feel like to buy the things for the people that you love, that you know that they deserve? You know that they need. And see, you want to start going and looking at houses. My wife and I used to always go out and look at, this is when we didn't have any money at all. And we're driving around a motorcycle, her on the back, going to open houses and dreaming. You gotta dream. You gotta start thinking. See, when you start building your why that's crystal clear, and the relationship that you want with your creator, and the relationship that you have with, the people that you love, and other relationships, when you give to community, when you're able to write huge checks or do some incredible voluntary work, when you're able to help other people succeed, and they call you and say thank you. When you can visualize that stuff happening, or maybe one day walking on stage and getting a big check or getting a huge trophy, you gotta visualize that stuff and get emotional about it and write them down on tablets, write them down on goals. And then when you do that, you'll be surprised how fast you can go through the trainings, you can figure out how to do things, you become very creative. You can become very resourceful. You stop putting out excuses, and you start making things happen. So I wanted to share this video with you because that is very important. You know, even writing them down and putting together a dream board. Now there's technology out there where you can do dream videos. So if you're not technical, no big deal. But you know, there's a lot of programs out there where you can grab pictures from all over, go to images on, you know, in Google and click on images and start typing in stuff that you want. And you want to put together a visual movie that you can watch all the time. And, you know, have it on your phone. You get a little down, you look at it. Oh, yeah, that's why I got to do this. You know, and for some of you, it's going to be things that you want. And then for some of you, it's going to be things that you can give, things that you can help others get. So again, don't ever forget that every expert in the world used to be a beginner. 26 years ago, I had no clue. Broke auto mechanic, didn't have a clue. I learned this from a mentor. I applied it. He made us write down our goals. And I look at my life today and I'm interested in teaching you exactly how to do this. If it worked for me, it'll work for you. I've helped 45 other people make it work for their lives. I can make it work for you. I know you can do this. Take care and God bless.